We recently compared the states and territories in the way they offer a benefit to international students who study there. Well, today we're going to take a look at the comparison of state sponsorship for the 491 and 190 visa based upon those who are working in Australia. I'm Karl Konrad, and in these videos we explain the Australian immigration law system and how to get a visa to live, work and study in Australia. We've been doing this now for 23 years, and through this YouTube channel we're able to share our knowledge and give you the information you need to make the right choices. Before I go on, if you're enjoying these videos, please hit that subscribe button and like our videos to show your support. First up, let's take a look at New South Wales, the most populous state. Currently, for the 190 visa and 491 visa, you do not need to be working in your nominated occupation to have a chance for New South Wales sponsorship. It is not open for applicants who are currently residing outside of Australia, but that can change as travelling to Australia becomes more possible. Simply residing in New South Wales for 3 months is currently all you require to have a chance for the 190 sponsorship. If you are working in your nominated occupation, this will give you an advantage over other applicants at the same points level, but it is not compulsory. For the 491 visa, it is open to everyone who is currently residing in Australia. Of course, preference is given to those who are living and working in their nominated occupations in regional New South Wales already. New South Wales has a limited range of occupations though. It is a fairly straightforward system in New South Wales, and yes, it is highly competitive, but then again, so is every other state. Next up is the Australian Capital Territory. Most of you know by now that the ACT works on a score-based Canberra matrix system where you express your interest to be sponsored by the ACT. This involves obtaining points for their various categories. The ACT is all about demonstrating you are living and working in their state to qualify for the 190 or 491 visa. They have what is called a critical skills list, which is a limited number of occupations to be sponsored. However, if you're working in the ACT on a 457 or 482 visa, or if you're using the small business pathway, you have access to the full range of occupations. For the 491 visa, you just need to be working in the ACT for at least 3 months at 20 hours per week in any occupation. For the 190 visa, you must be working at least 6 months full-time in any occupation. Overall, the access to the Canberra matrix and have a chance of sponsorship after working just 3 months in any occupation at 20 hours a week is a very attractive deal. Unfortunately, most people are not working on a 457 or 482 visa or running their own business in the ACT, therefore the occupation list is very limited. The ACT is currently not open to offshore applicants. For Queensland, their major focus is on people who are currently working in their state. You must be working in your nominated occupation or a closely related occupation to be eligible for sponsorship. For the 491 visa, it can just be 3 months, but it needs to be in regional Queensland. For the 190 visa, it needs to be 6 months, but it can be anywhere. The 3-month or 6-month timeframes are very similar to the ACT, but in Queensland, of course, the harder issue is working in your nominated occupation or the closely related occupation and full-time. Queensland does offer a full range of occupations available for sponsorship under these visas. The Northern Territory does not have a large quota for its sponsorship program, currently only at about 500. So they are very fussy when it comes to applicants being able to demonstrate a long-term commitment to their region. They are open to all occupations available for sponsorship, however they do have their own version of a higher demand occupations which gives you an indication about their selection priorities. For the 190 visa, you need to be living there on a long-term basis, a minimum of 2 years to have any realistic chance. You need to be working at least 2 years in total with at least 12 months in your nominated occupation. For those looking to move to the Northern Territory now for the 491 visa, you need to live there for 12 months and work in your occupation at least 6 months, and that is your nominated occupation. Compared to the other states, the Northern Territory requirements are tougher to meet by a considerable margin, and the numbers they can nominate are considerably less. For the Apple state, if you're in Australia, you need to be working there to gain sponsorship. Currently, they do have a limited program for offshore applicants. If your occupation is on Tasmania's Skilled Occupation List, the TSOL, and if you're working in it, then you can qualify in just 3 months for the 491 visa and 6 months for the 190 visa. If your occupation is not on the TSOL, then you can work in any occupation for 6 months for the 491 visa only. For the 491 visa, there are additional requirements to meet depending upon what work you are doing, so be sure to check that out carefully. You will also have a greater chance of sponsorship if you're working in Tasmania's Special Priority Industry Training and Workforce Development areas. Tasmania is open for offshore applicants whose occupation is on the TSOL and can meet the extra requirements as stipulated on that list. If your occupation is not on the TSOL, then you have to have a formal job offer from a Tasmanian employer. Western Australia can sponsor you if you live in any part of Australia. They are currently not open for offshore applicants. For WA sponsorship for either the 190 or 491 visa, all you need is either a job offer in an occupation on Schedule 2 on WA's list, or 12 months experience in Australia in an occupation on WA's Schedule 1 list. Overall, it's as simple as that, but of course it is limited to a small number of occupations available on these lists. Victoria has the compulsory component of living in their state and having a job in your nominated occupation. However, there is no time frame of how long you need to be working there in that occupation. The catch is your occupation must be in one of their target sectors and also involve using STEM skills. Very limited in scope, but useful for some. And finally, South Australia. They offer sponsorship for the full set of occupations available for the 491 and 190 visas. However, their requirements can differ from one occupation to the next, so going through them all is not an option here. In general, though, you need to be working in your nominated occupation or closely related one in South Australia from 6 to 12 months. If you're working in regional South Australia, that time period is on the shorter side. They are currently open for offshore applicants in a limited number of occupations, and even then you would need a significant number of years' experience and a high level of English. South Australia can nominate you if you've been working in outer regional areas in any occupations for 12 months for the 491 visa. The work experience does not have to be in your nominated occupation, and this is similar to Tasmania. Comparing them all is a very difficult task, but at least this gives you an idea. It is important to check the full requirements of the states and territories that interest you before you make your decision. To help you do this, we have videos on all the states and territories for you to watch. The links will be in the description below. For those who are finding it difficult to gain employment in your nominated occupation, then Tasmania and South Australia offer good deals if you're prepared to move regionally. And when I say regional, I do not mean Adelaide or Hobart. New South Wales Regional can also offer some chances, but it is not as secure as South Australia and Tasmania. For those who can get a job easily in their occupations, then WA and Victoria offer the fastest path to sponsorship if your occupation is something they desire. South Australia has a good pathway for working in any occupation by going in outer regional. Tasmania is also good in that regard, but it's not just any occupation depending on where you plan to work. If your occupation is on the ACT critical skills list, then the ACT is appealing for the 491 visa, particularly if you are a couple and you can gain more points on the Canberra Matrix. Queensland is straightforward and relatively fast, but like the Northern Territory, they are focused upon those who are working in their nominated occupation only. It's a tough choice which only you can make. If you need help in making it though, we are here to offer you advice. You can speak to us over Zoom, Skype or the telephone. You can book an appointment by visiting our website at australiavisa.com or just give us a call. We do charge for consultations, however, at $165 for 30 minutes. To keep up with all what's going on and moving and shaking in the Australian immigration world, subscribe to this channel. Until next time, take care out there and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.